The diner's neon sign flickered against the gray November sky, casting intermittent shadows across the cracked parking lot. Maya Rodriguez wiped down the counter for what felt like the 100th time that shift, her feet aching in her worn sneakers. It was 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, the dead zone between lunch and dinner when the only customers were usually truckers grabbing coffee or locals killing time. Maya had been working at Rosie's Diner for 3 years now, ever since she'd aged out of the foster care system at 18. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid her rent and put food on the table. The bell above the door chimed, and Maya looked up with her practiced smile already in place. A little boy walked in alone. He couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old, with a mop of dark curls and enormous brown eyes that seemed too big for his thin face. His clothes were expensive. Maya could tell that much from the designer logo on his jacket, but they were dirty, torn at the knee. His face was streaked with tears and grime. Maya's smile faded into concern. She glanced toward the parking lot, looking for a parent, but saw no one. "Hey there, sweetie," she said gently, coming around the counter. "Are you okay? Where are your parents?" The boy's lower lip trembled. I don't know. I got lost. We were at the rest stop and I went to the bathroom, and when I came out, the car was gone. I've been walking for a really long time." He started crying again, his small shoulders shaking. Maya's heart clenched. She knelt down to his level, despite the protest from her tired knees. "It's okay, honey. You're safe now. What's your name?" "Oliver," the boy whispered. "Oliver Chen." "Okay, Oliver. Maya. Let's get you cleaned up and find your parents. Okay?" She stood and guided him to a booth near the window. "Are you hungry?" Oliver nodded, wiping his nose with his sleeve. Maya's manager, Dale, emerged from the kitchen at that moment. A heavy-set man with a permanent scowl and breath that always smelled like cigarettes. "Maya, what's going on? We don't allow unaccompanied minors in here. Dale, this little boy is lost. His parents left him at a rest stop somehow. I'm going to feed him and call the police to help find his family." Dale's scowl deepened. "We're not a charity, Maya. You want to feed him, it comes out of your paycheck." Maya bristled but kept her voice steady. "Fine. That's fine. Can you just call the police while I get him something to eat?" Dale grumbled but trudged toward the office phone. Maya brought Oliver a grilled cheese sandwich, fries, and a chocolate milkshake, the kind of meal that had always made her feel better when she was a scared kid in the system. Oliver's eyes lit up when he saw the milkshake. "My mom never lets me have milkshakes," he said. Then his face crumpled again. "I want my mom." "I know, sweetheart. The police are coming, and they're going to help us find her. I promise." Maya slid into the booth across from him. "Can you tell me what happened?" Between bites of grilled cheese, Oliver explained that his family was driving back from visiting his grandparents upstate. They'd stopped at a rest area, and Oliver had gone to the bathroom. When he came out, he couldn't find their car. He'd searched and searched, then started walking along the highway, hoping to see them. "I thought maybe they'd realize and come back for me," Oliver said, his voice small. But nobody came. Maya felt a familiar ache in her chest, the same one she'd felt countless times as a child, wondering why her own mother hadn't come back for her. She pushed the feeling down and smiled encouragingly at Oliver. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes," she said. "I'm sure your parents are looking everywhere for you right now. They're probably so worried." The police arrived 15 minutes later, 2 officers, one older and gruff, one younger and sympathetic. Maya explained the situation while Oliver finished his milkshake. "Oliver Chen, you said?" the older officer asked, typing into his radio. He paused, listening to the response. His eyebrows shot up. "Is the kid wearing a blue jacket with a designer logo?" "Yes," Maya confirmed. The officer's entire demeanor changed. "We've got an Amber Alert out for this kid. Parents reported him missing 3 hours ago. They're frantic." He looked at Maya with new respect. "You did good, miss. Real good." But Dale had appeared again, his face red. "Officers, I need to make a complaint. This employee violated diner policy by serving food to a non-paying customer and allowing an unaccompanied minor on the premises. I want it on record that I told her not to do this." Maya stared at her manager in disbelief. Dale, he's a lost child. Policy is policy, Dale said coldly. The younger officer looked disgusted. Sir, are you seriously? I'm seriously running a business, Dale interrupted. Maya, you're fired. Effective immediately. Leave your apron and get out. The words hit Maya like a physical blow. What? Dale? You can't be serious. Dead serious. You directly disobeyed me. You're done. Oliver had been watching this exchange with wide, frightened eyes. No, don't fire her. She helped me. Please don't fire her because of me. It's okay, Oliver, Maya said, her voice tight. She untied her apron with shaking hands and set it on the counter. She'd just lost her job. Her only source of income. How was she going to pay rent? How was she going to eat? But when she looked at Oliver's tear-stained face, she knew she'd do it again. Some things were more important than a job, even if her bank account didn't agree. Officers, can I have 5 minutes before I go? Maya asked. I just want to make sure he's okay. They nodded, and Maya sat back down with Oliver. Listen to me, sweetie. The police are going to take you somewhere safe, and your parents are going to come get you very soon. You're going to be fine. But what about you? Oliver asked, his eyes filling with tears again. You lost your job because of me. That's not your fault, Maya said firmly. Never think that. You needed help, and I'm glad I could help you. That's what matters. Oliver threw his arms around her neck, hugging her tight. Thank you, he whispered. You're like an angel. Maya felt her own eyes sting with tears. She hugged him back. This little boy who reminded her so much of her younger self. Lost and scared and needing someone to care. The officers took Oliver to the station to wait for his parents. Maya gathered her belongings from her locker, which wasn't much, just a spare pair of shoes and a hoodie, and walked out into the cold November afternoon, unemployed and uncertain about her future. But she'd done the right thing. She had to believe that mattered. 3 days later, Maya was filling out job applications at the library when her phone rang. An unknown number. Hello, is this Maya Rodriguez? A woman's voice asked, professional and crisp. Yes, this is she. My name is Jennifer Park. I'm calling on behalf of the Chen family. You helped their son, Oliver, last Tuesday. Maya's heart skipped. Yes, I did. Is Oliver okay? He's perfectly fine, thanks to you. Ms. Rodriguez, the Chen family would like to meet with you to express their gratitude. Would you be available tomorrow at 2 p.m.? I can send a car to pick you up. Maya hesitated. She didn't need thanks. She'd just done what any decent person would do. But something in her was curious. Sure, that would be fine. Excellent. The car will be at your address at 1:30 p.m. Please dress comfortably. The next day, a sleek black town car pulled up outside Maya's modest apartment building. The driver, an older gentleman in a suit, opened the door for her with a polite smile. Maya felt deeply out of place in her nicest jeans and a clean sweater, the best she had. They drove for 40 minutes, leaving the city behind and entering an area of rolling hills and estate homes hidden behind stone walls and iron gates. Finally, they turned down a long private driveway. Maya's jaw dropped. The house at the end of the drive wasn't a house. It was a mansion. 3 stories of pale stone and glass, with manicured gardens and a fountain in the circular drive. This wasn't just wealth. This was serious money. Wait, before we see what happens next, I have to know. Where in the world are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you think you know where this story is going, comment your predictions below. Trust me, you won't see this twist coming. Keep watching. The driver opened her door, and Maya stepped out on shaky legs. Before she could process what was happening, the massive front doors opened, and Oliver came running out. Maya! Maya, you came! He crashed into her, hugging her waist. Maya laughed, hugging him back. Hey, kiddo. Nice place you've got here. Oliver, let Ms. Rodriguez breathe, a woman's voice said warmly. Maya looked up to see an elegant woman in her late 30s approaching, with Oliver's same dark curls and kind eyes. Behind her was a tall man in an expensive suit, his phone in his hand. Ms. Rodriguez, I'm Christine Chen, and this is my husband, David. We cannot thank you enough for what you did for our son. Christine's eyes were shining with tears. When we realized Oliver was missing, it was the worst moment of our lives. And to know that you took care of him, that you lost your job because you chose to help him. She shook her head. We need to make this right. You don't owe me anything, Maya said quickly. I'm just glad Oliver is safe. Please come inside, David said. We'd like to talk with you. They led her into a stunning foyer with marble floors and a chandelier that probably cost more than Maya had made in her entire life. Oliver held her hand, chattering excitedly about his room and his dog and everything he wanted to show her. In an elegant sitting room, Christine poured tea while David sat forward, his expression serious. Ms. Rodriguez, Maya, we've taken the liberty of looking into your situation, David began. We know about the diner, about your manager firing you. We've already spoken with our attorneys. That termination was wrongful, and we're prepared to pursue legal action if you wish. Maya blinked. I appreciate that, but I don't want to cause trouble. It's not trouble, Christine said firmly. It's justice. But beyond that, we want to do more. David and I would like to offer you a position. A position? We own Chen Technologies, David explained. We're always looking for good people, and anyone with your integrity and compassion is exactly the kind of person we want in our company. We have several entry-level positions available, all of which pay significantly more than the diner and come with full benefits. Maya felt overwhelmed. I don't have a college degree. I aged out of foster care and went straight to work. We'll cover your education, Christine interrupted. If you want to go to school, we'll pay for it. You can work part-time while studying, or full-time if you prefer. We want to help you build the future you deserve. It was too much, too generous. Maya felt tears streaming down her face before she could stop them. I don't understand, she whispered. Why would you do all this for me? Christine and David exchanged a glance. Christine reached out and took Maya's hand. Because you treated our son like he mattered when it cost you everything, Christine said softly. And because... She paused, seeming to struggle with her words. Maya, can I ask you something personal? You said you aged out of foster care. Do you know anything about your birth family? Maya stiffened. It was a question she'd stopped asking herself years ago. No. I was abandoned as a baby, left at a fire station in Philadelphia with no note, no information. Just a blanket. Christine's breath caught. What kind of blanket? I don't know. I never saw it. The social worker told me it was long gone by the time I was old enough to ask about it. Maya frowned. Why? David pulled out his phone and showed her a photograph. It was a baby blanket, handmade, with an intricate pattern of flowers and birds in shades of blue and cream. My sister disappeared 21 years ago, Christine said, her voice shaking. Her name was Lily. She was 17, pregnant, and terrified. Our parents were strict, traditional. When they found out she was pregnant, they kicked her out. I was only 16, too young to help her. I tried to find her, but she vanished. The last thing I gave her before she left was this blanket. I'd made it myself when she told me about the baby. When she told me about you, Maya's world tilted. What are you saying? After Oliver told us about you, about your kindness and your story, I couldn't shake this feeling. So I hired a private investigator. Maya, you were left at a fire station in Philadelphia 21 years ago this past March. My sister was last seen in Philadelphia. And the description of the blanket from the fire station records. Christine pulled out a folder and showed Maya a scanned document. It matches perfectly. Maya stared at the photograph of the blanket, then at the document, then at Christine's face. The eyes. They had the same eyes. We'd like to do a DNA test, David said gently. If you're comfortable with that. But Maya, everything points to you being Christine's niece. Lily's daughter. Maya couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. She'd spent her entire life alone, believing she came from nowhere, belonged to no one. And now, she left me, Maya said, her voice breaking. My mother left me. She was scared and 17, Christine said, tears running down her face. And 3 weeks after you were left at that fire station, Lily was found dead. An overdose. She'd been struggling with addiction, trying to survive on the streets. The private investigator found the police report. The words hit Maya like a freight train. Her mother hadn't abandoned her out of cruelty or indifference. She'd left her somewhere safe because she was drowning, and then she drowned for real. I'm so sorry, Christine whispered. I'm sorry I couldn't find her in time. I'm sorry I couldn't find you. I've been looking for 21 years, Maya. Every time I saw a young woman who might be the right age, I wondered. And then Oliver came home talking about the angel who saved him, who'd grown up in foster care, who was all alone. She sobbed. I knew. Somehow I knew. Oliver had been quiet through all this, but now he tugged on Maya's sleeve. Does this mean you're my family? He asked, his voice hopeful. Does this mean you're my cousin? Maya looked at this little boy who'd stumbled into her diner 3 days ago. This little boy who might have just changed her entire life. I don't know yet, she said honestly. We need to do the test. But Oliver, even if it turns out we're not related by blood, you're still special to me. You'll always be special to me. I hope we're family, Oliver said firmly. You're nice, and you make really good milkshakes. Despite everything, Maya laughed. The DNA test took 2 weeks. They were the longest 2 weeks of Maya's life. Christine and David had insisted she stay in their guest house while they waited for results. A guest house that was bigger than any apartment Maya had ever lived in. They'd also insisted she start working for Chen Technologies immediately, test results or not. Maya found herself in an entry-level position in their company's community outreach department, helping coordinate charitable initiatives. It was meaningful work, the kind she'd never imagined doing. And for the first time in her life, she had health insurance and a 401k and paid time off. But more than any of that, she had people who cared about her. Christine took her shopping for professional clothes and didn't blink at the price tags. David asked her opinion on business decisions and actually listened to her answers. Oliver insisted she come to his soccer games and begged her to help with his homework. They treated her like family before the test ever confirmed it. When the results finally came, Christine called Maya into the main house. The whole family was there. Christine, David, Oliver, and even David's parents who'd flown in from San Francisco. Christine's hands were shaking as she held the envelope. Whatever this says, she told Maya, you're part of our family now. Nothing changes that. Just open it, Maya said, her heart hammering. Please. Christine opened the envelope, unfolded the paper, and read. Her face crumpled, and she started crying. You're her, she whispered. You're Lily's daughter. You're my niece. Maya, your family. The paper confirmed it. 99.9% probability of a biological aunt-niece relationship. Maya had spent 21 years believing she was alone in the world. And in the span of 2 weeks, she'd gained an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, and a set of grandparents who were currently crying and hugging her all at once. I can't believe this is real, Maya said, laughing and crying at the same time. I lost my job at a diner, and I found a family. You didn't just find a family? Christine said, holding Maya's face in her hands. You found your way home, and we found you. After all these years, we found you. Oliver wormed his way into the group hug. I told you she was an angel, he said proudly. 6 months later, Maya stood in Rosie's diner again. But this time, she wasn't wearing an apron. She was wearing a blazer and professional slacks, her hair styled, her confidence radiating. Dale looked up from the counter, his perpetual scowl deepening when he recognized her. What do you want? He asked gruffly. Maya smiled, the kind of smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I'm here to make you an offer, Dale. Chen Technologies is expanding into the restaurant industry. We're buying struggling establishments and renovating them, turning them into community hubs with fair wages and good working conditions. Dale's face went pale. You're not. We're buying Rosie's diner, Maya confirmed. The owner already accepted our offer. She was tired of dealing with your management style anyway. So here's how this is going to work. You're fired, Dale. Effective immediately. You can leave your apron and get out. She used his exact words from that day 6 months ago. Dale's mouth opened and closed like a fish. You can't do this. Actually, I can. I'm the new operations manager for this location. And Dale? Maya leaned forward. Policy is policy. As Dale stormed out, red-faced and sputtering, Maya looked around the diner that had been her whole world for 3 years. Soon it would be transformed. Better wages, better conditions, a safe place for workers and customers alike. And it all started because she'd chosen to help a lost little boy. Christine appeared at her side, having watched the whole exchange from a booth. How does it feel? Pretty good, Maya admitted. Really good, actually. Good. Because Oliver wants to know if you're still coming to his birthday party this weekend. He's very insistent that you bring your famous milkshakes. Maya laughed. Tell him I'll be there. I wouldn't miss it for the world. As they walked out of the diner together, aunt and niece family, Maya thought about the strange journey that had brought her here. She'd been fired for doing the right thing. She'd lost everything she had. And she'd gained so much more than she'd ever dreamed possible. Sometimes losing everything was the only way to find what you'd been missing all along. Sometimes the people who needed saving ended up saving you right back. And sometimes, just sometimes, helping a lost little boy led you home. Maya had spent 21 years as Maya Rodriguez, the girl who belonged to no one. Now she was Maya Rodriguez Chen, and she belonged to a family who'd been searching for her just as long as she'd been searching for them. All because she'd chosen kindness over policy, compassion over job security, and love over fear. In the end, that choice had given her everything. And it had all started with a grilled cheese sandwich and a chocolate milkshake in a rundown diner on a gray November afternoon.